Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the front office. I'm your host, Pistols. It has been a while since we have done a show, but we are here. Fantasy season is here. What's up, Smooth? Thank you for joining me. Guys, fantasy season's here. We're here. We're drafting already. We're getting into it. 2026, 2027 is here. Yeah, a lot of stuff's been going on in the fantasy world these days, as those of you know. Yeah, it's just a personal preference of mine. Smooth. I can't say that I love the Browns or anybody from the Browns until they prove me wrong to where I think that they could have some fantasy relevance. I'm sorry, but half the season for Judkins last year is not a good sample size for me to know what he's capable of. I didn't see anything great out of Deshaun Watson. I know they already named him as the starter. I would definitely try to avoid Browns players, minus maybe Harold Fannin. I might take a flyer on him at some point. But other than that, hey man, the Browns are just out here trying to do their thing, right? They got a new head coach because Stefanski went down to Atlanta. I think it's Todd Monken, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, listen. I say this all the time. I don't claim to be any fantasy expert, right? And I hope I hope I get proven wrong a lot of the times too. This is just observations that I've made over the years. And the observation that I've made on the Cleveland Browns over the years is that they are just not a good organization. They are not run very well. Jim Haslam is, in my opinion, not one of the greatest owners in the league. I know the Browns have history and this and that, and they tried, but since like 2000, they've had 30 quarterbacks. They got to figure that out first before they start adding pieces. It's just, yeah. If you like Judkins, by all means, take him. Draft away. But for me personally, I'm just staying away. I'm staying away from the Browns. I truly am. I'm staying away from the Browns. Staying away from the Raiders. Speaking of the Raiders, that's the first team that I wanted to touch on. I know now here's the thing with the Raiders. Ashton Genty is a very, very talented running back. Okay. Now he's got the low ankle sprain. It's not said to be serious, but he might be in jeopardy for week 1, maybe week 2. Mike Washington Jr., I think, is his backup currently slated to run the ball for them. Now, in my opinion, the Raiders are doing it the right way. Okay, you draft the quarterback first overall. You bring in a veteran. You let him develop. That's exactly what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes. If you remember, when he was drafted, they had Alex Smith, who was their quarterback. Alex Smith started. Patrick Mahomes didn't play the entire year. He played one game, week 17, at the end of 2017 season. So that, in my opinion, is the correct way to develop a quarterback. We see a lot of guys come in and struggle when they're drafted high and they start right away. I personally like the development aspect of a young quarterback. The Green Bay Packers have the best developmental program for quarterbacks ever. I'm pretty sure they've had 3 quarterbacks in the last 30 years, starting with Brett Favre. They go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. That's it. That's all they've had. So in my opinion, the Packers just do it right. They just do it right, and I think the Raiders are trying to take notes from the book that the Packers wrote on the quarterback, and they bring in Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is fine. He's a solid quarterback. I know he's getting up there in age, so he might not be around for too much longer, but for the most part, Mendoza is going to be fine in this league, I think, but getting drafted to a team like the Raiders, who have struggled for the past few years and trying to get back to their winning ways, that's the way to do it. Bring in Kirk Cousins, let him play, even if it's for half the season, and you want Mendoza to come in and get some reps, full speed, whatever the case may be. But Kirk Cousins might surprise a lot of people, and he might play well. Not really sure who he's throwing the ball to besides Brock Bowers. I know they got Bowers is top rated tight end in the league this year, especially fantasy wise. I know the injuries kind of screwed him up last year, but for the most part, Bowers is a top tier tight end. Definitely is going to be drafted very high. I've already seen him taken pretty high in the first draft that I did over the weekend. Unfortunately, I wanted to stream that, and unforeseen circumstances didn't allow me to, but it's all good. We're here now, and we're talking football, we're talking fantasy, and we're gonna talk fantasy, and then we're gonna go into Madden 27. We're gonna start our franchise. We're gonna get a lay of the land, see what's going on, see if we can win a Super Bowl. But yeah, the Packers do it the right way. They did it the best. And some could even argue that they developed Malik Willis. He gets drafted by the Titans, busts there, goes to the Packers. Jordan Love gets hurt, comes out, wins like 4 games for them, and gets a starting job in Miami after, Tua walks and goes down to Atlanta. Speaking of Atlanta, the next team that I want to talk about, after the Raiders here, like I said, be wary of Gentry. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be a top producer in the league. I definitely keep an eye on him. I put him in the top 10 this year, probably closer to the bottom half of the top 10, maybe like 8 or 9. As far as production, I think there's just better running backs out there that are going to produce more. I wouldn't even be surprised if he winds up in the top 15, probably in that 11 to 15 range. But keep an eye on his injury. Like I said, it's not serious. But the Atlanta Falcons are an absolute mess. They signed Tua Tagovailoa, obviously from Miami. They bring him in to have a quarterback competition with Michael Penix Jr., who also I don't think is that great. But they have some really nice weapons. They got Bijan Robinson. They got Drake London. They got Kyle Pitts, who seemingly has maybe finally found his way in the NFL. I know the stats will tell you that Kyle Pitts has been great. He has produced 1,000 yards a couple times in his career. Last year he was close. He was at like 870 or so. But the touchdown totals were there. I know the one game everybody kind of freaked out about. He had 3 touchdowns. For me, his fantasy production is not really there. But that quarterback competition is really the one that we're watching. Right? Both quarterbacks are hurt right now. I believe Michael Penix just kind of got back in the swing of things. I think he was finally cleared to practice. But, the weapons are there in Atlanta. The talent is there. The QB stability is not there. We have to figure out what's going on with the QB room. I think they announced Tua as the starter, if I'm not mistaken. But the couple preseason games that they've played so far, the week one of the preseason, Tua did not look good. Penix didn't even play. Week 2, Tua didn't play because he got hurt. They brought in Cooper Rush and some rookie who's actually playing very, very well. I wouldn't be surprised if he's thrown in the mix there at some point, which would be absolutely crazy when you sign Tua and you have Penix, and you already had Kirk Cousins when you drafted Penix. So whatever they're doing down there in Atlanta is pretty crazy, which sucks because Drake London is Drake London's a beast. He's an absolute beast. Yeah, I mean, Drake London is a very big body wide receiver. He's got a great route tree. He makes the contested catches. I look for him to be in the top 10 of receivers this year again, if they can figure out the quarterback situation. But because the quarterback situation, that might drop him into the bottom half of the league. I might put him at the 11 to 20 spot, somewhere in there, depending on if they can figure it out or not. Bijan Robinson is going to get his. He's going to probably be at top of the league. He's already a first round draft pick, probably top 5 pick somewhere. When you're looking at the fantasy board and you got third pick overall and Bijan's still there, you're taking him. There's no question there. But Atlanta's got a lot of uncertainty, especially around the quarterback situation. So hopefully they figure that out. Hopefully we can see some good production again for fantasy. I'm avoiding Atlanta again. Unless it's Bijan Robinson, then I can somehow get him in the top half of the first round. He's really the only guy that I'm interested in. Kyle Pitts doesn't do it for me. I've been saying Kyle Pitts is a freak of nature, which he is an absolute freak of nature athlete. But for the most part, he's just a guy. He had a couple good years. Sure, 1,000 yards is great for a tight end. But I would like to see more consistency from him, and I just need them to figure out their quarterback situation. Other than that, the Atlanta Falcons are not on my radar outside of Bijan. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Bijan is just one of the best running backs that I've seen in a long time. He is right up there with Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, those guys who are still relevant and still putting up really big numbers. Speaking of the Ravens, my next team that I want to talk about, I'm just going to kind of jump around today, look at fantasy outlooks. The Ravens lost their one of their offensive linemen. He's out for the season. I wouldn't panic there. Honestly, I would not panic with the Ravens losing him. The Ravens they're built different. They have Lamar Jackson. They have Derrick Henry. Okay, they extended Zay Flowers. Pretty crazy contract there. For the most part, any Raven really outside of Mark Andrews, you're probably safe with. If you're going to go with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, you're definitely going to get a lot of value there. Zay Flowers has less value to me than Derrick Henry does. Only because they are a run-heavy team. Lamar is that showboaty, flashy kind of runner guy. Very fast, very shifty. Problem is he doesn't stay on the field. He's a quarterback that I'm probably avoiding. I've said this a lot of times too. When I draft, I am not taking a quarterback earlier than the 10th round because there's a lot more value in those earlier rounds leading up to that point to where I'm okay with Bo Nix or Dak Prescott or some of these guys that you can get later. I'm filling out my roster with skill position guys, running backs, wide receivers, grabbing my tight end in there somewhere. That's really what you need to focus on. Lamar Jackson is just a glorified running back to me, who can't stay on the field for an entire season. But Derrick Henry is a beast. He should be gone in the first 2 rounds for sure. I think they're going to run heavy, rely on him. They kind of started to at the end of last season before, obviously John Harbaugh was there. They have a new coach in Jesse Minter. Came over from the Chargers. So we'll see what happens there. That's just a situation to monitor too, I guess. See what the offensive line is going to do. I wouldn't panic though. I still think Lamar is going to be fine. He's going to run all over the place. Derrick Henry is going to be a monster. Somehow he's still running at a very, very high level in the NFL, which is crazy because you usually see the running back position kind of take a dip when they hit their 30s like that. It's pretty wild. It's all right. Yeah, so I wouldn't panic on Baltimore. You're still okay to draft Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers is a great wide receiver too, maybe flex guy in my opinion. Going back, sticking with the quarterback situation. Patrick Mahomes is a question mark. I know he's been in training camp and practicing, but the concern for me is not really with Patrick Mahomes, to be honest. He's an athlete. These guys are freaks. There's a reason why they're in the NFL and I'm not. Not to mention I'm not as, I'm not tall enough to be in the NFL. But Patrick Mahomes, I think, is going to be fine. If you're looking for a late, I've seen him get drafted pretty late. I actually took him in my league that I drafted on Sunday. I also drafted Rashee Rice as my wide receiver, so I paired my receiver with my quarterback. But Patrick Mahomes is really just going to be a bench guy for now until I see what he can do early on. There's still a chance that he may sit out the first 4 games of the season just to make sure that he's fully healthy and ready to go. So, which would leave Justin Fields, who I'm not drafting at all. I'm not even taking a chance on him. Ken Walker is now injured with a foot injury. So these things are worth monitoring with the Chiefs. Obviously, Travis Kelce's in year 30. He's age 34 in like year 11 or 12 or whatever the case may be. He says he still got it in him. I think he still has some fight left in him. Just got married to Taylor Swift over the summer, of course. Big deal there. Obviously, they got married at Madison Square Garden. Of course, the iconic arena in Long Island there. Or New York City or wherever the hell MSG is. I think it's Islanders are Long Island. Yeah. Anyway, regardless. So with Travis Kelce, Smooth, give me 1 second. Let me finish my thought. Kenneth Walker is something to monitor. He's got a foot issue. Foot issues are really concerning sometimes because they can linger. I know Ken Walker has had foot issues in the past with Seattle. They kind of forced him out of a couple games and had him sit on the sideline for a few weeks. But he's their main running back in Kansas City. If you draft Kenneth Walker, I would absolutely handcuff him with Emmett Johnson, a rookie that they really like, doing some really crazy things in training camp. I think he's on the depth chart as their running back too. I would definitely handcuff him just in case. Stash him, whatever you got to do just to be safe. He might end up in a, if you're in a deeper league or a keeper league, could end up working out pretty well for the Chiefs. But Patrick Mahomes still worth a chance. I would draft him late. I would definitely take a backup quarterback that you could fill in. But yeah. The third pick, Smooth, is that's a tough spot for me because it is so worth it to get a really good wide receiver early. The problem with getting a wide receiver is that now you have 20 picks till you get back to your pick again, and I can guarantee you the running back room is going to look pretty thin in the second round. I mean, you're still going to have guys probably like Javonte Walker. You'll have your Quinshon Judkins. He's going to be left there for you. But having a guy like Chase is of course, so worth it because their offense revolves around him. And it doesn't matter if Joe Burrow is throwing the ball or not. Jamar Chase is still an elite wide receiver. He's ultra talented. He makes contested catches. I would love to have. I mean, I've had Jamar Chase. I would love to have Jamar Chase on any of my teams. Yeah, he hyperextended his knee. He's going to be fine. He's just going to sit out this week he's not going to play this preseason game. He's not going to practice this week. You got this week of preseason, and then they get a week off, and then the season starts on September 9th. And it's a Wednesday this year. I think it's the Patriots that open the season. The Patriots. I have to look at the schedule, but Yeah, football starts on the 9th this year, not that Thursday after Labor Day like it usually does. CMC at 3 would not be a reach. I love Christian McCaffrey. I know a lot of people are scared about his injury past and his injury history, and all the analysts are saying, well, he's been injured every other year, and essentially this would be a year that he is going to be injured. So that superstition is kind of crazy. If you do draft CMC at 3, I would absolutely go running back heavy, because you do never know what is going to happen. And that might be a hot take. I don't think injuries should scare anybody. I truly don't. I think if you draft scared, and if you're worried about injuries the whole time, then you're just never going to draft anybody, because anybody can get hurt on any given Sunday, right? Or Thursday or Monday or whenever they decide to play an NFL game. But at 3, no, I don't think it's a reach at all. Sorry, I was just trying to figure out my dinner. Jamar Chase is incredible, and CMC is incredible. So you're getting a workhorse running back, truly, in Christian McCaffrey. The best part about the 49ers offense is it doesn't matter who's back there, they're still going to win games. Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius. He is a great head coach, whether it's Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, I forget who else, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, was there when Kyle Shanahan was there. They won some games with him. They have a very well-oiled machine there in San Francisco. And Christian McCaffrey has been the focal point of it the entire time he's been there. Now, he got traded in 2022, I believe, and came in and dominated right off the bat. Now, he got hurt the next year and then came back and played great and then got hurt. And yes, I get that. I understand it. I hear what you're saying about the injuries. But like I said, if you draft based on injuries, you're never going to draft anybody. It's just the nature of it. So I would not be afraid to draft Christian McCaffrey at 3. Yeah, I don't think it's a reach at all. I truly don't think it's a reach at all. Yeah, that would be an excellent pick. Come back around, grab another running back, and then grab a wide receiver. That's what I would do. I made the mistake in my draft on Sunday. Not really a mistake. I just had to adjust how I drafted because my commissioner decided to go to a 2-quarterback league. So now we have 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, flex, kickers, all kinds of shit. Dumb. Stupid. Hate it. But it changes the draft because if I would have waited and did my normal strategy of not drafting a quarterback until round 10, I wouldn't have had anybody left to pick. I'd have ended up getting like freaking Kirk Cousins and Malik Willis. So I had to adjust my draft strategy. I ended up drafting Jalen Hurts in like the 3rd round. It's crazy. I ended up drafting Bo Nix in the 6th round. It's crazy. Puka Nacua was my keeper, so I lost the 2nd round pick. Didn't have a pick until the 3rd round. Absolute insanity. What I should have did was kept the running back. I didn't. And then drafted around him. But that's okay. We're going to win anyway. You know, I'm a 2-time champion in this league, back-to-back years. I'm going for the 3-peat. Be the first time ever. Anybody has ever 3-peated in that fantasy league specifically. Actually, now that I can think about it, I don't think anybody's ever 3-peated in any of my fantasy leagues. But for the most part, yeah, I kind of had a strategy going in. I went wide receiver heavy in this one. Not sure why. Should have went running back heavy, but again, the 2 quarterback situation kind of kind of messed me up a little bit. I'm not used to drafting 2 quarterbacks, but I do know the value of quarterbacks in the 2 quarterback league. You have to have 2 really good ones. If you have 1 good one and 1 mediocre one, you're not going to get any points. It's going to suck. So I needed to make sure that I had enough points and enough value in my quarterback position. So I kind of had to give up a little bit in the running back department. I still ended up with DeAndre Swift, who I'm happy about, who I'm actually going to talk about next. I ended up with Tony Pollard as well. The only other running back I have on my team is Rachaad White, so I'm praying to God that Rachaad White can somehow take the starting job off of Krosky Merritt and Rodriguez over there in Washington, because, man, am I looking rough at the running back position. But I like DeAndre Swift, and with Kyle Monungai hurt now, this is who I want to talk about next. DeAndre Swift, really have high hopes for him again this year. Caleb Williams should continue to increase his value. But Kyle Monungai has a knee injury. Okay. Not sure how significant it is. So with DeAndre Swift being as talented as he is, really good pass catching running back, out of the backfield. He's a hard runner too, but I know they like to slow down the pace with Kyle Monungai. He's more the north to south runner, where DeAndre Swift is more east-west, kind of make a guy miss type of guy. Can catch out of the backfield. But with that knee injury to Monungai, I don't know if he's really going to get a whole lot of work early on. So it's really an opportunity for DeAndre Swift to kind of solidify his role even further in the Bears offense. So honestly, in my opinion, I'm very happy with getting DeAndre Swift. First of all, let's put it that way. He's in my league, but I think more people should be happy about getting DeAndre Swift. He's not in a timeshare. Kyle Monungai, yes, he had some good plays, good games last season, but DeAndre Swift, it's DeAndre Swift's offense. Caleb Williams is a runner as well. He's going to run. DeAndre Swift is going to be out there for short passes, whatever the case may be. But that knee issue for Monungai could really, DeAndre Swift could see some really early season, what you want to call it, opportunity that could really solidify his role in their offense, which would be huge for anybody who drafts him. A couple other guys I want to mention. Tony Pollard, another guy that I also ended up drafting. He's my flex guy. Really like what he's doing on the field with the Titans. I really like what the Titans are doing. I am obviously a Bills fan, as you can see. Go Bills. Oh, there it is. Bang. But the Titans have a really good head coach in Robert Saleh. Really good offensive coordinator in Brian Daboll. I should know. He was Josh Allen's offensive coordinator. He was a really good head coach in New York. They didn't really give him a chance. He had some really good things going on with Jackson Dart before he got let go midway through the season. Also went to the playoffs for the first time in who knows, since Eli was there, with Daniel Jones. But Tony Pollard looks like he's going to be the bell cow of the Titans. I really like what they're doing there. He had a really nice series against I forget who they played, Seahawks. Had a nice screen that he took for like 30 yards. Fantastic. Only rushed twice for like 12 yards. Fine, whatever. It's preseason. Not trying to injure your guys. But Tony Pollard's going to be a guy I think that could really surprise a lot of people. I think the Titans are probably going to double their win total. I mean, that's the hope around here in Nashville. I hear the word. I hear the buzz. I know all my Titans fans out there are going to be like, oh, my God, they're so bad. They're not as bad as people think. I think that the first game of the season for them against the Jets is going to tell all. That's a must-win game for the Titans. Jets fired Saleh, right? They are coming into Tennessee. Chris Johnson, longtime running back of the Titans, was diagnosed with ALS. Not doing so great. They are honoring him at the first game of the season at the stadium because it is the last year of Nissan Stadium until when they move into the Dome next year. I think the Titans have a mission. I think they are fired up. I think they are going to win at least. I think they can win at least 8 games. But it starts with the Jets. It starts with beating the hell out of the Jets. Okay. And if the Titans lose to the Jets, and mark my words, and this is a hot take, it is panic mode from week 1. The Titans fans will riot. I think the organization is in trouble if they lose to the Jets. They cannot lose to the Jets. The Tennessee Titans will not lose to the Jets, and if they do, their season is over. Their season is over if they lose to the Jets. I'm saying that right now. I love fantasy season. I love football season. I'm so happy that it's back. We're here. We're getting ready to draft. We're doing it. I got a draft coming up on Sunday. That one I am gonna try and live stream. Hopefully I can get that one up and going. That'd be fun for you guys to follow along and see how I pick and how I think in my drafts. That one is a no keeper league. It is a PPR league. So everybody is just back in the pool. You're just drafting. Yeah. So that one's going to be fun. Fantasy season. We are in full swing. Where'd all my points go? Wanted to touch a couple more things before we get into some Madden 27. Yes, we did get Madden 27. We have been waiting. We're getting it back on the channel. As soon as this loads. So, the biggest thing for fantasy this year, just make sure that you're not drafting based on injuries, because injuries can happen to anybody. I mean, we saw some big stars go down, but we also see them come back and be better than ever. I mean, Adrian Peterson has done it. He tore his ACL and came back, ran for like 2,000 yards. Saquon Barkley did it, tore his Achilles or ACL or whatever it was in New York, came back, ran for like 2,000 yards. Or had a 2,000 yard season with Philly once he got traded, all that other fun stuff. Guys get hurt, man. It's just the nature of the beast. Don't let that mess with your draft strategy. Always have a strategy when you go in. Any rankings that were, alive in July, they're dead now. Don't rely on, off-season rankings. Don't rely on rankings in general. Take a look at the situation at hand. Look at what's going on around who you're thinking about drafting. Make sure that the role is solidified. Make sure that there's volume there. I also don't look too much into the preseason. Yes, some guys look good. Yes, you're going to see some glimpses of everything, but preseason is really for coaches to just get an idea of who they want to have on their roster. A lot of people say that it's to knock the rust off. They've been sitting around all summer long and this and that, blah, blah, blah. No. Your superstars are not going to play. They are athletes. They don't need to knock the rust off. The preseason is there for coaches to look at their roster and make decisions to see who is going to be there week 1. Okay, we're already seeing a lot of cuts. This is just how it is. I don't care that somebody ran for 90 yards against the third stringers. I don't care that somebody caught a 50-yard pass because of blown coverage, because a rookie cornerback doesn't know where he's supposed to be. That means nothing. Keep that in mind. What you should be paying more attention to is who they're playing with. Guy like Jeremiah Love, rookie running back. Is he going to be the starter? Well, he's playing with the ones. Chances are he's probably going to start. Now, they do have Tyler Algier. and James Conner's still there. They just cut Trey Benson, so he's gone. There's one less running back. But, make sure that these guys are actually playing with the starters and with the ones. And when you assess a situation and you're looking at a guy to draft, take a deep breath, look at the surrounding situation, go from there. Now, one other thing too, when you're going into your drafts, one of the biggest things that I want to hit on. It is okay to build a roster that can be wrong. You will miss on players. Even the professionals miss on players all the time. Dreams, what's going on, man? Welcome in. This is very, very important for fantasy owners and fantasy managers this year. It is okay to miss on players. You can build a roster that is wrong. You will not hit a home run every single time. Yes, Jamar Chase is going to be fine. He's gonna sit out this week. He's gonna sit out next week. And week 1, he's out there giving it 110%. But don't be afraid to miss on a guy. It is fine. Nobody's going to get it perfect. You are not going to make the perfect pick every single time. But what you need to keep in mind is that you do need to build for week 16. There are 16 weeks in fantasy football. I can draft everybody I want. If they don't make it past week 4, you lose. You have to have the depth. You have to take into consideration your bye weeks. You have to take into consideration the potential of players. Like, you want to draft guys that have high floors, high ceilings, potential breakout guys. I have a lot of guys on my roster that really could potentially be great. I drafted Deebo Samuel back with the 49ers. Guess who's throwing him the ball? Brock Purdy. Guess who threw him the ball before? Brock Purdy. Deebo Samuel, I've said this, is a sleeper. I feel like he's always a sleeper. I feel like people kind of underrate him a little bit. Guy's incredible. He knows the offense. He could be a very sneaky pick. Stephon Diggs, another sneaky pick, gets signed to the Commanders. He's the number 2 next to Terry McLaurin. Guess what? Diggs still got some gas left. He's a psychopath. But he's got some gas left in the tank. Could be a sleeper pick. All these things you have to go into. Don't be afraid to miss on a guy. If you miss on a guy, now what your next focus is all right, what does the waiver wire have to say? What are the waivers saying? Who am I looking at? Who should I be able to pick up here? Who has some potential? And you'll be able to figure that out very, very early in the season. You're going to be able to see guys that are going to be able to break out. Hopefully we have less injuries this year than we did. In the past, we had quite a few. But that's it, guys. I appreciate you for being here. This has been The Front Office. I am your host, Pistols. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Probably next week. We're going to do some drafting, but we are going to get into it.